I want this video, I hope Jupiter sees this video, because I want to answer a couple of things that she said. Not in a horrible way, but I kind of felt, well, not felt, if you watch the beginning of a couple of my videos, they got a couple of sarcastic intros to them, because I knew that by asking some difficult questions, there would be people out there that would come to some extreme conclusions. So, knowing it was coming anyway, I sort of thought I would address it. I wasn't going to, but with Jupiter bringing it up tonight, or I don't know when you're going to see this video, I thought I might as well address it. Like, I haven't watched the whole video, I don't need to. I just had a few things at the beginning, and it's enough. It's enough to go along with the narrative I thought would be there by someone. Not everybody, but I knew it would be out there. As I said, I know how certain people, not Jupiter, but certain people in this movement think. I know, as I said, there are some people that are open-minded, others see Nazis under the floorboards. So I know how it works. I've seen the game played before. So, and that's worth remembering as well, Jupes. So, to be honest with you, Jupiter, you said something in your video which is perfectly right. You said I didn't think Tom, or I can't quote it, but you said I didn't think Tom was extreme. And this is where I always disappoint people, because that's right, I'm not extreme enough for a lot of people, and I'm not quite placid enough for the others, and that tends to be the case. No, I'm not extreme. Which is why I feel like the best placed person to ask uncomfortable questions, because as much as, not yourself, but other people have tried to put these terrible motivations on me, the truth is number one reason. Well, I say number one, let's not put it in order. Truth is the reason, obviously. With this country being the state that it's in, and with people having political influence, it's also knowing who you're supporting, who you're voting for. There's so much to do with it as well. When I started this channel, I wanted to have an open mind and talk to all kinds of people. And if there were people I thought were bad, I would find that out. And if they were really bad, we would even maybe rip them to pieces on the fucking channel if they were prepared to come on and have that. I was interrupted from doing that because people thought it would look bad. And in fairness, when you get with other people and you're representing them, you realise you've got to keep up a certain, set of standards. So you sort of steer away from certain things because you're no longer just representing yourself. So I had to kind of not be as prepared to do what I used to do, which was I sat down with based at Amy one week, get James Goddard the next week. Didn't know them, but I was prepared to try and find out who these people were, because I didn't know back then. And I felt I was the best placed person. Now, the problem was back then people didn't know me. Now, as you said, I'm not an extreme person. So as much as, again, the unfortunate part is there's a lot of people out there who think that, because I don't get eye to eye with Paul Thorpe, that there's some crazy agenda there. But other than that, most people know that I tell the truth and that I'm not extreme. So you've hit part of the nail on the head, but in the wrong way round. It's because I'm not extreme. I feel like I'm one of the best placed people to ask these questions in good faith. Because there's going to be no gotcha. There's going to be no tomorrow Tom turns up in his Nazi gear. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. What we had in this movement before was a bunch of gotchas, and they were so set up. It was such a work. It was so obvious. So no, this isn't going to be an I gotcha. Hey, look at me doing the goose step. But at the same time, it is also an awakening of. I've been watching Saudi Arabia, and I also have been watching other countries for the last 2 years now. And again, it's not about the people for me. Governments, you don't judge the Americans on all the Americans on their government. You don't judge any, So for me, the first target is governments and people in power. So if that's racist or if that's extreme, well, what are we doing in our country? We're going after the people in power and the people in charge, right? Because they're all corrupt. It's no different from any country around the world. So is that an extreme position to take, to treat every country the same, which is to say none of them can be trusted, and the ones with a lot of money can be trusted less, and the ones that we're doing deals with should be looked into because we've been sold out by our own leaders for years and years and years. What else have they been selling? And to who and for why? You know? Who have they got to, if anybody, in our movement? Because we know they're prepared to put operatives in. We know they're prepared to pay people. We know all kinds of crazy stuff, right? And from the other perspective, in what do I see in Dino? Well, that's really my business. But if you see it, like, I just want to be clear, if you see it as like a recruitment thing or a way of getting clicks or anything, no. It's like I saw a genuine passion in him that made me believe in something more than just judging someone on their content, on the outward appearance of something. And also, I saw what was an unpleasant interaction with you guys on Bin's channel, and it was like, oh, I gotta be honest. And then I saw, I don't know, about half an hour of Dino on Jupiter's channel, and Jupiter was laughing at every joke. And you were getting on like a house on fire. And I checked in later on because I was like worried in case, no, still getting on just fine. So from my perspective, well, that was it. Problem solved. Problem solved, Jupes. So whatever's happened from there, and I can guess, well, whatever's happened from there to now, for you to go off Dino again, I don't know. I haven't listened to all your streams and stuff, so maybe there's something that's happened. I don't know. But as far as I was concerned, you both had that happen on Bin's channel. Then you seemed to be laughing at every joke. You seemed to be, agreeing on some stuff. You seemed to be getting on really well, is my point, on your stream. So I was like, well, they're okay. That's cool. So no harm, no foul if they're getting on. If she's forgiven him, what right don't, so that's that. So we move on. Yeah, I am interested to get to know Dino. And that's my business. But it's nothing to do with wanting to be extreme or going extreme. It's to do with what my channel has always tried to do. Ask hard questions, go to uncomfortable places. And whenever someone says, oh, that word is damaging, examine the word. Whenever someone says that group of people, oh, it's definitely bad, examine that. Whenever someone says, don't hang around with that guy, go and meet him. Make sure. Because people can say a lot of things when they got an agenda. And again, in, say, Jupes' position, Jupes, don't ruin anything you've got going at the moment because you're in a great position, and I would, understand where you are, and I'm really happy for you to, I'm really happy to see that you're a part of the community that you are. Really, genuinely, you've been here years, you deserve it. But you're right, you do know me. So no, I'm not going extreme. I'm just no longer being pushed around by people who think they know it better than us, because they don't. And I'm asking questions because questions are okay. And only if you fear the answers, not you personally, but if someone fears the answers, should they fear the questions. Questions with easy answers go away. So, and questions with difficult answers need to be asked. Because there's no trick questions in life. There's only true or false when you get down to the things that really matter. So we can do that. We can do that. And if there's anything, if there's anything wrong, we can look at that. Or if there's anything we don't understand, we can look at that. What we don't want to be doing is going into another election as important as this in absolute ignorance of the people that we support. And that's for Tommy. Being jealous of Tommy, I don't know if you included me in that. Let me tell you something. I spent time around that man, real time. Yeah, real time. Regardless of what anybody out there thinks, good, bad, I don't know what his life's like. I don't know what his beliefs are. So I'm not going to get into all that. What I can say is the time that I spent with him, I wouldn't want to be him. Let me just make that clear. I wouldn't want that life. And I think that anybody who is jealous of him doesn't know what they're jealous of, if they are. If that's true, and I believe that you're right, I believe there are people out there that are jealous of him. If that's true, and I believe it probably is, they're not exactly sure what they're jealous of. They think they know, but I doubt many of them would want it. And again, that's not even sticking up for him or putting him down. That's just the bits that I've seen. So, there was, wouldn't say it was that sort of life for me. So, so I hope, and I've made this sort of for Jupes and for other people because, like I say, I knew other people would be asking the same question. So Jupes is probably only asking what other people are thinking. So, no, I'm not turning extreme or anything like that. I haven't gone extreme. I'm just, I'm one of those people that tries to get on with everybody, but at the same time, I'm not going to be shied away from things by people who think they can shepherd us away from the truth or away from things that are uncomfortable. If they're uncomfortable, why? That's the first question to ask, you know? And I've always been about this. Like I say, I've just let other people get in the way. Well, I'm not representing anybody anymore. So I can go and experiment with the world the way I always wanted to. And find out, and often you find out not everybody's the face that they put on. And yeah. And then, there's a lot of times there's something deeper, and people deal with things in humour. And what many people are taking to offence at the moment, I see a lot of humour in it. So, and I see a clear two-tier, even the sense of humour. So, like, we criticise the left, right, for only thinking woke jokes, right? But look at what we do. Again, we can make Alan's snack bar jokes all day long and everybody's going to love it. But there's certain other jokes that won't be taken funny at all. You'll be called something extreme. And this is what people are picking up on. And the way to deal with it may be just to even that down a bit so that that doesn't happen anymore. I'm oversimplifying it, but you get my point. Like, it could be that simple if we stop avoiding, I think we've always said everybody, why did Islam get a pass with getting taken the piss out of, for instance, having cartoons drawn? Why should, that should apply to every single group of people, everybody, nobody excluded. And I'm not suggesting you, but if that makes other people feel a bit uncomfortable, well, yeah, it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, which is why I know I've been brain trained to feel like that when all I'm doing is actually asking questions. I mean no one, no harm. I'm never going to brandish entire race for being a race. So no one's going to be able to flip a switch in me that's going to make me hate every single person. Do you know what I mean? It's just, so if I know that, I don't give a shit what other people think. They may have a low opinion of me going in, but I know I have my own moral compass, and it knows where north is, and it will keep pointing at north regardless of who it comes into contact with. So I hope that answers some questions. Done my best. All right, catch you soon. I'm Tom Fury. This is Zero News. Go and take for now.